Ready? Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, hello everyone. Welcome to the DLD Why Can't You See Me podcast. Yay! So, today's host is me, Shelby, an adult with DLD. And today I have a very special guest, the inspirational, hardworking, dedicated speech and language therapist and an author, Stephen Parsons, one of our extraordinary DLD heroes.
I'm slightly embarrassed now.
No, you have such a long list of what is it, like a crib sheet of like all the stuff that you are involved in. So I know from the NAPLIC work that you do, as well as the RALDLD Committee, and obviously your experience of being a speech and language therapist and the author of so many books. I have a little surprise at the end. So yeah, welcome.
Thank you, Shelby. Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, so I have some questions. Okay, so tell us a little about yourself, any relation to DLD, or your personal as well as your professional.
So I'm a speech and language therapist, and I have been for 35 years, so a long time, a long time. And I'm chair of NAPLIC, which Shelby just mentioned a moment ago, which is a UK association for anyone who works with children and young people with DLD. And then through that, I'm also chair of RALDLD, which is the Raising Awareness of Developmental Language Disorder campaign. But I guess before, in the last few years, I'm self-employed doing kind of training kind of work. But I guess my real connection to DLD came from that I worked with many children. So like, I guess over those 35 years, really. And I guess many of the ones that really struck with me were the ones who we would now say had DLD. And I worked in some very, very fantastic places which really supported children and families really well. And it was just great to see what impact your work can have, on those children. So that was really what motivates me for DLD.
What are the biggest misconceptions that you see of DLD?
And this, I must say, I thought about this question quite a lot. I think the first one is that it's a delay. And I think that was one of the issues related to the old terminology, that a lot of children got labeled as having a language delay. And then that gives the message is that children will catch up once they just need a little bit extra and they'll catch up, right? And so that's a really hard message to sell, I think, to families. That's not a delay, it's a disorder, so therefore it's a difference rather than just a catching up, is one thing. Another thing I think is to do with English as additional language. A lot of people get confused about, they see anything to do with language as to do with learning additional language. It gets into a bit of a muddle in some people's understanding. They get a little bit confused around what actually is it then, if it's and so particularly in children who speak English additional language and who have DLD, that really confuses some people as well.
No, as I was nodding because that's a lot. Yeah, I can understand that. It's either, if it's the difficulty in both language, it's more speech and language, but if it's just difficulty in their second language, then it's more EALS.
Yes, it's about learning the school language, isn't it? Like in English. Yes. Yep.
Okay. So what has your professional experience been like, working in schools, different settings?
So my first job was in Australia. So I trained in Australia, and I worked right in the outback, really in the outback. So part of my job was going to very isolated places. I used to go in a plane, flying doctor flights out to very small places in the outback. and yeah, so that was, I mean, that was just working with lots of different speech language and communication needs, not specifically what we now call DLD, but there were quite a number of children with DLD on the caseload there as well. And then, but most of my career has been in the UK, and for 20 odd years I worked in Hackney, which is in inner East London, in a very multicultural kind of area, and I worked in the specialist language provisions in Hackney, so in primary schools mainly. I did other things as well, but that was my main work there. And so you're seeing children over quite a long period of time, and because I stayed in the same area for a long time, even if children weren't on my caseload, I would bump into them in the street, or see them at college or secondary school or something like that. So I saw some of them over and their families over like about 20 odd years, which was fantastic. And that's lovely to see.
I can relate to that in the way that some of the supports in only for short term, but you don't see that long-term effect. So that sounds really positive that you was able to see the impact that you gave them, or like provided them.
I also think back sometimes. I also think, oh, I wish I know now what I wish I knew then.
Yeah,
I know now, and I could do a better job. But anyway, we can't go back and do the history.
I'm sure you haven't done anything bad, but like mistakes are natural as well. I'm not saying you're brilliant as you are. That's what I'm trying to say.
Though. We could have done better if I knew now what I knew. Yeah, if I knew then what I know now, I would have done better. But that's hey.
Okay. What are the daily challenges you see or face when working with someone with DLD, or when you're advocating for DLD?
I think the hardest thing is when the other person working with has never heard of it. And so you're trying to explain it, and often in a very short window. You've got like a minute to really get this message across very quickly, and some people just have never heard of it, and they just think you're the only person that must know about this thing, and it must be very rare, or it must be very minor. It doesn't really have much of an impact, because we see that many people with DLD have very good coping mechanisms, and so they can get along quite well.
Yeah,
I mean, amazingly well in many cases, I think. And so therefore, trying to explain it to teachers, for instance, and these children in their class, they think, well, they don't really have many problems because they don't stand out.
Yeah,
but actually they do with lots of their learning, and that's because of the language. So I guess I probably answered that in more than one thing, wasn't it? But about 8 things.
No, that's fine.
But I think it's things like people have never heard of it, and then they don't really understand what it is. And I guess actually even more than that is also that DLD changes so much. It's quite, like it can be very different in one person with DLD to another. So it's very hard to say this will be the problem. It will be, right? So all of those things create some kind of issues.
Yeah, I think there is more awareness happening, and a bit more conversations about DLD. I have noticed that within my work, my service that I work for. So it is like, sorry.
So when you talk to like other professionals, are they more likely now to say, oh, I've heard of that? Is that what you're finding?
A little bit more. Right. The team that I'm in, obviously they're amazing, and they all have that awareness of what it is, and I think there's more. I have seen more trainings, and more support getting built for language. So it's really exciting because I know I keep it I keep it not separate, but obviously I advocate outside of work, but I do say little stuff inside, but not directly inside, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing loads of stuff, and it's, you know, like, you don't know what has an effect, do you? Right? You don't know one little thing that you do twig somebody somewhere, and they know somebody who, you know, like, says something, or they know someone that might have DLD. They get referred, all sorts of things. You don't really know what impact it has, but, you know, obviously, little bit by little bit. I'm going to tell you one little aside, a little extra thing, a little story, is that I did a talk in London. Every year they have a big exhibition for all special educational needs.
Yeah.
And I gave a talk there 2 months ago, you know, end of October, middle of October, and I gave a very similar, well, title of the talk 4 years ago. So both have developmental language disorder in the title. And so 4 years ago was, what was that, 2019? And about,
sorry, I was working out, that was really slow for me. So yeah.
Well, people might be watching this at any time in the future, mightn't they? You don't know exactly, right? Anyway, and they, and so about, not many people came to it, maybe 10, 15 people. Almost all of them were speech and language therapists, or people I knew. One or two who weren't. And so it was, you know, and so that was all who came. This year I gave this talk. The room had only, 50 people could fit into the room. The room was full, and they were mainly, I mean, overwhelmingly teachers, special needs coordinators, or classroom teachers, and they had all heard of DLD. So they didn't know what to do, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I thought that felt to me like a really big move.
Yeah.
A significant move, I guess. Yes. So yeah. So it is happening little bit by little bit.
Yeah. I had because the other week I had a surprise shout out from the head of the whole service, announced me and the Given Voice Award. So I wasn't expecting it to go up that far up. And I was like, whoa, like, thank you. I was a bit more shy and nervous, like, sort of thing, because I just like to I tell my manager, my team, little updates and that about stuff. But yeah, that went above. So
it's nice to get recognition, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
all the work that you do.
Yeah, it was nice. It was just, yeah, I'm a bit when it's, yeah, on me, the focus, if that makes sense. Okay, so what positives or strengths or impacts have you observed? So you mentioned about the impact when you saw it in your job in Hackney. Yeah, it was Hackney, wasn't it? Yeah. So any positives and strengths of DLD, or for people that you might not expect them to have?
I mean, it's hard to generalize, I think, isn't it? It's hard because everyone is different, but I would think something like determination, right? So keeping going when things are tough, right? So really, and having then to sort of think around problems, but be creative in terms of finding a solution or getting something done in a different way. Would be the things that I would think are probably a bit of a pattern for people with DLD. You know, I think, and you know, like, as someone who doesn't have DLD, I can never really understand how hard it is, especially to be in a classroom where there's like talk all day long. That level of concentration and effort would be beyond me. So I think probably that determination to keep going and keep trying is really crucial, and but also something that I see a lot in people with DLD.
I think you said that perfectly. It's all about, obviously, there is that different strengths that every person has with DLD, and I know some people might think, oh, I don't know what my strength is, but you do have a strength, and it's okay like to have time to build on a strength as well, if that makes sense. Because it's not saying that you'll never be talented or have any success or achievement. You will. You might have it might look different to someone else's, but not to compare it as such. It should just be more about how far you have come, and even if it's just like a small achievement, that achievement will be big for you. That makes sense?
Yeah. And I think also with the school is that schools aren't really suited well, most schools, I should say, and most styles of learning are not suited to people with DLD, because it's all in school. It's all about talking and writing, right, and reading, right, which are all usually difficult for people with DLD, and so therefore it might be sometimes actually people with DLD might find their place a little bit later.
Yeah.
When they've got more options outside of school, right? Rather than going through the traditional kind of school route and finding an options, right? It takes a little bit longer, I think.
I know for me, I'm more practical.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I'm more creative in some ways, but yeah.
And the world is kind of more flexible than school is, right?
Yeah.
There's more options outside of school than there are in school.
Trying to make sure that the environment of school is a little bit more communication friendly, or that inclusion as well, because obviously, what's that saying where we don't all fit in a box?
So like a square peg in a round hole. Yes, I mean,
I don't know.
Square peg in a round hole. Is that what you mean?
Maybe. I don't know. I thought it was something like, I don't know. We all don't learn the same. I think that's one. Yeah. Okay. What advice would you recommend for parents and families?
That's a really big question.
That is, sorry.
It's a really big. Well, I guess briefly, I would think one of the things I would think about, well, I guess I'd like to say is, and I may have contributed to this actually a little bit, is that when professionals use lots of statistics about how bad DLD can be, the impacts it can have on learning, on life outcomes, on so many young people in the youth justice system have DLD, and yes, that's true, but those kind of statistics relate to young people who've been unsupported, right? Because they look at say the youth justice system, and they look at young people who've been involved with some sort of crime, and they assess them, and almost all of them have never had any contact with any support services that would support their language. So they haven't had support, and that's why they've ended up like that. And I think that can be very scary. I'm sure it is very scary for lots of families. So whilst DLD does increase risks for other life outcomes, and it does make reading and learning more challenging, I think with the right support and supportive families, then outcomes can be very positive. And people with DLD can achieve. It just, as I said, it takes that determination, it takes that creativity, but actually people with DLD can achieve. But it really is about the support rather than the diagnosis isn't a life sentence, right?
Yeah.
Just because you have DLD doesn't mean this is going to happen. It's about supporting people with DLD to they can achieve.
And connect that community and connecting with others and sharing your experience. I think that is really beneficial for them.
Yeah.
So they don't feel alone or like,
And I think that's one of the great hopes, I think, now, because there are very few adults who identify as having DLD, because the terminology only changed a few years ago, and services are all based on children, right?
Yeah.
And so therefore it's going to take years until we have lots and lots of adults who know they have DLD. But then this community will grow, but it's going to take a while.
We're going to get there.
We are going to get there. We are.
Okay. What advice would you give to other professionals? You have kind of spoke about that.
Yeah, I think for speech and language therapists, I would think is diagnose. All right, I think that is probably the big thing now. And there's diagnosis is a tricky issue, and it can't be taken lightly. It has to be done thoroughly and properly. But actually, the impact it can have on child, young person, adult, and their families can be absolutely enormous. It's the gateway to understanding, to connecting, to learning, right? So that's really, really important, and it can have huge impacts on things like mental health, because if a young person understands themselves, then they have a greater sense of control of their own destiny. If they're I'm confused, I'm dumb, I can't learn like everyone else, that's not good, right? That you can understand that has an impact on mental health. So I think that's a really important thing. And if I can just a little plug for NAPLIC, actually, we have some resources on our website, naplic.org.uk, and there's resources around DLD and some modules on diagnosis, so that will answer lots of the queries that people have about diagnosis. And then I think for wider professionals, it's about knowing about DLD, knowing it exists. So, for every person, every parent in the world to know about DLD, that's a big ask. But for every teacher to know about DLD is a lot smaller, and every child goes to school, right?
Yeah.
So if every teacher knew about DLD, then actually we could be then as a secondary, any child that comes, this child's not learning in the way I expect. Could it be DLD? Refer
language
to services, right? Then we can start to really have a big impact much more quickly. So for teachers, I think it's really about knowing about DLD. But then also once they know a child has DLD, is actually then just an understanding teacher.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You need them.
That's it. They don't need to do anything really special except understand. So that's probably the key things. But diagnosis for speech and language therapists and understanding for teachers.
Yeah. All behaviour is a form of communication. I always say that. Always. It unpicks everything. It's not just language, if there's anything else, the reasons why. What strategies or support would you recommend to someone with DLD?
This is the one I wasn't really. I don't know.
Sorry.
It's hard to give one. It's hard to give one kind of strategy for all people with DLD, and I just wondered if it's about sort of I guess understanding what works for yourself. So having some strategies and knowing what works, and then I guess letting other people know those strategies. And if you find it difficult to tell other people, is have some way of telling other people. So that could be something like a recorded message on your phone even, or it could be a little written card.
Yeah. Sorry, I just did that down here. I was like,
or it could be in schools, they have more kind of formal kind of one-page profiles about, or something like that. But some way of telling other people about what works for you.
Yeah. Right. What are your achievements that you are most proud of, personally or professionally? I think you have loads.
I should let you answer this question, should I?
No, don't. Just in case I get it all wrong.
What am I most proud of? I guess, yeah, I have written some books, and they've, and I think they're very helpful. They're very helpful for children and young people, for teachers to work with children and young people, all sorts of, and and I'm involved in a project at the moment, and you're hearing directly about the impact it's having, and it's fantastic to hear that lots and lots of children who I'll never meet are having some kind of benefit of that work, which is fantastic. I worked for many years in Hackney, and we went from a really small, struggling service, shall I say, over those 20 years to be a really big, successful service. And I can't take credit for that. I can take a small part of that credit, right? That I was part of that team, part of that process which happened, and that was very rewarding. And that has continued. They're still doing amazing work. I left there like 6 years ago, so that to have been part of that process is very very rewarding. And then I think actually more recently has been the DLD Together project.
Yeah.
That NAPLIC run with Aphasic, so who are the charity for families with of children and young people with speech, language, and communication needs, including DLD. And then so the DLD Together is about bringing families together to understand their child's diagnosis, and that's been fantastic. They talk to each other. I've been running a group just recently, and the first week they were all anxious. It's online, right?
Yeah.
And they're all a little bit anxious. You can kind of feel the kind of anxiety, and then we have a little introduction, send them off into little breakout rooms, and they all come back with the biggest smiles on their faces, right? Because they'd never met another family with their child had DLD, so they always have to explain it all the time, right?
Mm.
And they came back and they're just so happy to meet each other. That's really powerful.
That sounds amazing. Well done to everyone involved.
Again, I'm only part of that as well. I can't take credit for that.
No. Okay. Do you have any upcoming or future plans?
Biggest one related to DLD is the DLD vision for the UK. So we launched that. We launched that in October for DLD Day. So this is the Speech and Language UK, so charity, Royal College of Speech and Language Therapists, Aphasic, who I talked about before, NAPLIC, and then people with DLD and families. We developed this over quite a long period of time, about 18 months. And now we've got the vision, and we're all kind of working on it. We're just getting our heads around that at the moment, what we're actually going to do now. But we've got very ambitious plans, long-term plans to really change the landscape, to make things better for people with DLD. So watch this space is what I'm hoping, because there'll be lots of things happening. So, so it's very ambitious, it's very long-term, but, we have to do better.
Yeah, as you're talking, I'm visually remembering what it looked like, the thing that you guys sent through about that. So I have to visualize a lot. Okay. So what do you want to change? That's a big question.
I did actually write some notes for this one.
There's so many that I would love
and
to change.
It starts off with everything. It starts off with everything. And I guess one of the things is about diagnosis, to have that actually everyone who needs a diagnosis should be able to get a diagnosis, that speech and language therapists feel confident and competent to be able to make the diagnosis. So one of the things I repeat a lot is there's potentially 1 million children and young people in the UK who have DLD. And if they were all diagnosed, everyone would know about DLD, because everyone would know someone with DLD, right?
Yeah,
and
that's
then they would
a lot.
all be, they would be demanding services in every school with every MP. It would just happen, right? So that's the thing. So, this is going to take a long time, but you know, that's something that we can be thinking about. So diagnosis is a big thing that needs to change. I think we need much better services for people who speak English additional language. So in terms of assessments, so actually being able to assess and diagnose appropriately, but also to be able to support people in their home language as well. I think that's a really important thing, because otherwise what can happen is that the support is all in English, and so therefore the person with DLD becomes an English speaker by almost, you know, by mistake almost, when actually the rest of their family are bilingual, speak English and their home language, and actually the person with DLD only speaks English and has their home language is very limited. Can happen a little bit like that sometimes. We have to watch that. That needs development. And then I think the other big one is adults. We need services for adults, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's virtually like nothing, is there? Right? There's
No.
virtually nothing. I mean, it's so close to nothing. It is nothing. So that needs to change. So there's the things there. So diagnosis generally, better services for English additional language, and then adult services as well. But so we have some plans for that as part of the DLD vision as well. So that's hoping, and things, you know, things will happen, but that's going to take a long time to change.
That sounds exciting. I think you answered my next question, saying what services should there be. About, you said adult services.
Yeah, I mean, but there still needs to be more. I think there still needs to be more for
children
as well. And I think a big part is the more consistent services. So some places have quite reasonable services, some places have very poor services. So we need you know, there needs to be a lot more. You know, a family needs to be able to go to a school, any school, and say, this is what my child, this they will be well supported in this school or the other school or another school, whereas currently they can't say that at all.
No.
So yeah, so that's it. So having some more consistent system is really important as well. But that's, you know, there's lots of factors that more widely around special educational needs which impact on that as well.
Hi. Thank you for answering my questions. So now we're going to have some games and activities. So, today's riddle.
I love riddles, so yes.
Oh.
let's see if I could get this one.
Okay, so what does a snowman like to eat for breakfast? I feel like I should know this.
What does a snowman like to eat for breakfast?
Obviously, Christmas theme.
I know, I'm just trying to think. I can't think. Carrot. I was thinking of carrot nose or something like that. No. No, I can't think of anything.
No, I'm not.
Aren't you going to show the answer?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
They are.
Frosted flakes. I was thinking of snow, but I wasn't quite along the right lanes. Yeah.
Yeah, like snowflakes, but it just didn't make sense.
No, that didn't make sense.
Okay.
But I can't remember these. That's the problem. Right, you could tell me that tomorrow, and I still won't be able to get it.
No. Okay. Which one of Santa's reindeer can be seen on Valentine's Day?
Okay, let me.
Do you know all the names of the reindeers? I feel like I only know Rudolph. No,
Prancer.
Who?
Is Prancer?
Prancer. Oh, I don't know that one. Dancer. There's one dancer.
Yeah, I think it's Dancer and Prancer. There's two that rhyme.
Ah.
I think there is. Yeah.
Okay.
That's no, I don't know. I don't know which one.
Okay. No. Cupid.
Cute. I don't get that one.
No, I don't.
Which one
is that the name? I'm gonna have to find the name now.
Is there one called Cupid?
I don't know. Sorry, I have to find it out now, because otherwise it's gonna bug me. Santa's rain.
Maybe there is.
Names. Dasher, Dancer, Prancer. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Vixen, Comet, Cupid,
Cupid, there is.
Donna, Blitzen, and then Rudolph.
Ah, so there is one called Cupid.
Yeah.
Oh, there we are. We learned
I would
one.
not have got any
No.
of them names.
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Donna just reminds me of Donna Kebab. Sorry. That's where my word linking happening. Okay, so now we got a little quiz. It's a little game. So this one you might need a little paper.
Okay. Okay. Got my pen.
Okay.
Yeah. All right then. Okay.
Oh, I can't read it at the top, but it says these are the Christmas emojis. Are you good with emojis?
A little bit. A little bit. So
I think it was is it the Christmas songs? It says
Christmas songs. They're Christmas
Yeah.
songs. Yeah, I could do the first one.
See how many that we can
Okay.
get. So I'm.
In what time? How long have we got?
I didn't actually time this. Do a couple of minutes. I don't know how long it will take. It will take me long. Okay.
Oh, I don't know that one.
On the second one, I'm thinking, what is that? A Jingle Bell?
That's what I was thinking, maybe.
Is there a song called Red Nosed Reindeer?
Sorry?
Is there a song called Red Nosed Reindeer?
I think isn't that Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
Yeah, might be that one. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I don't actually know what their name is.
I think is. Okay.
I'm trying to sing him. Oh, Christmas tree.
Oh yeah, that could be, couldn't it?
I don't know what that name or that song is.
Isn't it Oh Christmas Tree, isn't it? Okay, number 7, I don't know. Ooh. Number 8, Frosty the Snowman. Number 9 looks like Pingu or something. Oh, I know what that is.
I don't know if I'm taking this too literal.
Joy to the crowd.
So for like number 7, I was thinking I love Santa.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know.
I don't know that one. I don't know that one. That's one I missed that one off.
I know number 8. That's quite. Hopefully that's the one I'm thinking. I don't know.
Oh no, I know what number 7 is. Oh wait, that. I
don't actually think I know it anymore.
13. No.
I attempted 8.
Storm 3 ships. Okay, and driving. Okay. Okay, I've tried all of them, but
yeah. Okay. Should we on the next slide should be the answers?
Or should we try and give our answers first of all?
Yeah. Okay then. Yeah, I didn't know which way round.
Do it first? I don't know. Otherwise, it's like we cheated, isn't it?
I was thinking Silent Night.
That's what I had as well. So okay.
And then Jingle Bells.
Yeah.
Rudolph.
Yeah.
And you said old Christmas tree, but I meant
Christmas tree. Oh, Christmas tree. I don't know though. But
I know the name.
That may not. Yeah. Number 5, I have no idea.
No.
Number 6.
Santa baby.
Yeah, that's what I had as well. I worked this one out, number 7. I think it is. I saw Mummy kissing Santa.
It could be.
Yeah, I think I saw Mummy. I think maybe. Number 8, what did you have for that one?
White Christmas.
I had
Is
Frosty
it
the
White Christmas?
Snowman.
Frosty the Snowman. It could be.
Number 9.
Oh, I know what I just done there. I didn't even realise it was a. I just didn't see it was a snowman. So yeah, sorry. Number 9, I have no idea.
I think it's partridge in a pear tree.
That could be. Okay. Number 10. Joy to the world.
That's what I thought as well.
Is it? I didn't actually write it down, but I just sang it.
That's what I thought.
Three Kings.
3 Kings, I think. Yeah.
I didn't get this one because I would just say.
Is that Spanish flag?
That's what I thought it was, Spanish.
So I don't know.
Christmas Spanish. I don't know.
I don't
I don't know number 13.
No, I don't know what 13 is. No.
Do you?
No, I don't know 13.
Oh no, I don't know anymore. I didn't
14,
know.
I think, is I saw 3 ships.
Okay.
And number 14, I think, is driving home for Christmas. 15, sorry. Driving home for Christmas.
See, this is where I really hate emojis because I would take them literally. I'm not good. Okay, let's see how many. We have to see who has the most, and then I will add it onto the leaderboard. Because last time Sophie won last time. So then my idea is at the end, once we have got some, whoever, if I lose all of them, then there's going to be, I might have to do like a forfeit. That's my idea. And whoever comes up with the idea, yeah, be a nice forfeit, not a bad one. Okay. So these are the answers. So we've done Silent Night.
Yeah, got that
Jingle
one.
Bells.
Jingle Bells. Rudolph.
Oh, yeah, Christmas Tree. I put Old Christmas, but I'll give myself half a point for that.
Okay, then I got half a point as well. Okay.
Hark the Herald Angels Sing.
No, I didn't get that one.
No. Okay.
Santa Baby.
Santa Baby. And then you got that one right.
I did.
And you got Frosty the Snowman.
I called it it's the 12 Days of Christmas is the official name. I called it Partridge in a Pear Tree. Right, okay. So I didn't actually get it.
The number 10 was Joy to the World. I said that after, but I didn't write it.
You got that one.
With 3 Kings.
I said 3 Kings. Is that like a half?
Yeah, that'd be a half point.
Feliz Navidad. Oh yeah, I didn't really think of that as a Christmas song, but yeah.
I wish it could be
Christmas every day. What's that one? Go back. What was that one? Number
3.
I wish it could be Christmas. The 17. I just didn't really understand that. Right. Okay. So it's a general calendar, isn't it?
Yeah.
A day. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then I saw 3 ships. And then driving home for Christmas.
I saw 3 ships. Oh, what's that one? Yeah. And driving home for Christmas.
I just know, but straight away I did not get. I feel like you have won this one. 1, 2, 4. Say your score.
10.
I got 5. Literally. Oh, you can't see, but yeah, it was 5. Oh, okay. So I will add another one on there next time. Okay, so then now we've just got the little couple ones left. So this is all about, the next one is about self-care. So one strategy or activity that you do for your self-care.
And I think mine's walking as well. I don't have a dog. Walking without a dog.
Okay.
I try and go for a walk every day. So for about 45 minutes to an hour every day. usually on my own. And because I don't have a dog, so some people think it's a bit weird.
No, it's a form of exercise.
Everyone else around here, I live in a sort of small village, and everyone else around here who walks has a dog. Or they walk with someone. I'm the only person who I usually walk alone. So it's like I'm the only one walking alone. So
Do you listen to music, or do you just
I use it
walk?
I use it just to think and just like look at nothing, think about nothing sometimes. Just
No,
relax.
but it's quite the nature sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's not, yeah, that's good though. That's the fresh air. Yeah, hearing the wind, hearing the birds. If you had all that there.
Sometimes I have a problem I think about or something like that, and then sometimes I just think about nothing, depending on how I how I feel, and just notice things or something. I guess a bit mindful, I guess.
Yeah, sounds mindful. Okay, so the next one strategy for the DLD toolbox.
And I think probably is like multi-sensory learning, so that some kind of visuals. So it can be something like an image, photograph, or it can be something, a diagram, so something visual, or it can be something that you can touch, like a real object or something like that. And I think those things are really useful because DLD is about hearing information, hearing it, and through the language side, but actually we can learn other ways. We can learn visually or through touch as well.
Okay. Then okay, so I'm doing a word wall. The next one is the word wall, but I put this slide in because I forgot to add it last time, and it makes more sense. So if you have a word that you would like to teach me, and then we can, obviously it is from the word aware approach based off of that, and then we'll learn these areas to help do that, and then I will add the word to the word wall.
This was a word that I'm trying to learn as well.
Okay.
And the word it's from a book that I've been reading. It's set in Scotland, or it is, and the word is called smur.
Smur. How would you spell that?
And it's really spelled very strangely. Yeah, so it's SMIRR at the end, right?
Oh, okay.
And it is like very, very fine rain, like mist.
Oh, okay. So to help that, so we know the meaning. So with the drawing, I would sort of draw with the rain, but like a little
very, very fine kind of rain. Yeah.
And then the first sound would be S or S. Then syllables, one.
Smur, yep, one syllable, yep.
Smur. What it rhymes with. Smur. Her. No, that's not it.
Rhymes with her.
Does it?
Smur her. Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Okay. Where would you find it?
I would think I think it particularly suited to Scottish weather or Irish weather. That very fine rain. We obviously get it in other places as well, but particularly in Scotland, Northern England, and Ireland, I think that kind of very fine rain.
Right.
It's almost like a cloud, isn't it?
I'm visualizing that. What group would it be from? So the category, is that would it be a describing word, or would it be a noun?
I mean, it is, isn't a type. Smur is a type of, but I think you'd actually say it's actually a noun. It's a thing, isn't it? Because because you could say that is smur. Yeah, or yes, it's a noun. But I guess the type of category I would say is like weather, isn't it? It's types of weather.
Yeah. I'm not very good with word classes. That's okay. And then you described it, so you would see it outside in the Scottish weather. Is that right? Okay, so we've done our word. So I will add it on next time. So this is the My Little Word Wall. Last time we done phenomenal.
Great.
And then the last part is any words of wisdom that you would say.
So I'm not just the words of wisdom, but a little motto that springs to mind occasionally. It's not I could tell you the whole story because it's a bit funny otherwise. It doesn't make sense otherwise. So I visited a friend who lived in Italy and went to a kind of meditation class, I guess. Part of that was doing a little bit of an exercisey warm-up bit as well. And the leader was German, but most of the people attending were Italian.
Okay.
Because there were a few English people as well, he was trying to speak to everybody at the same time. And so he was kind of using a mashup of languages. And one of the exercise kind of things was, these are the actual words, it was positiva. So arms out, there's positiva, and you got energetica, and then the funny one is enthusiastica. So like this goes positiva with the hands like this, energetica, and then enthusiastica. So it's kind of like, so German people will go, that's not German. Italians will go, that's not Italian, and obviously it's not English either, right? It's somewhere in between. I quite liked it.
No, that sounds good though. That would be their new shared language between all of you? But no, it sounds good. Okay. This is it. This is my surprise. So today, books recommendations. Obviously, there were so many books, so I done these ones that I found off of Amazon, and I will do a link down below in the comments part. But obviously, your author for language for thinking, language for behavior and emotions, and word aware. Across the I can't say the word curriculum, and then the teaching vocabulary in early years. And I think there is some more, aren't there? Am I missing any more?
There's word aware 3 as well.
Yeah, there was a number. I knew there was another one, but yeah, I've done these. So that's what I recommend to everyone, to have a lovely read. And I didn't know. I don't know if I ever told you. What was it? Before I met you, or like met you through RALDLD, obviously I love word aware, and I loved it because of our service promotes it and sort of says about word aware. And yeah, so I was like that, and then once I realized who linking you, I was like, wow, I was like a fan, but I didn't want to say anything. I was like, I know who he is now. So yeah, I was like just saying, I know the author or know of the author. So yeah, it was good. But so okay, and then that's it. We have finished. So thank you for joining in, and thank you for being my guest.
And thank you, Shelby, for inviting me. It was fun. Thank you very much.
Thank you.